Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 3. Today I have a special guest for you, but before we start our Q&A, I wanted to give a little background story on this particular person. For those of you who know my youngest, London, she is quite the little spitfire. She has a lot of energy and a lot of love, and at the same time on the other end, she had a lot of frustrations, a lot of meltdowns, and it was really hard to deal with a lot of the time. And not just for myself, but for her, because she just couldn't really understand or deal with all of those emotions that little kids feel when they're experiencing different things. And so we found that over time, with me being able to work with her one-on-one through school and practicing extreme patience, that we are excited to say that we're in a completely new space of understanding and being able to express our feelings with words and understanding, and now she is able to essentially move mountains. So I'm going to be bringing her out here to talk about some of the things that we went through with her and school, because she absolutely hated it. She did not want to do work. She did not want to try new things. She would get frustrated very easy when she didn't get things right away. And it has been a learning process, but it has been a beautiful process, and one that I know she's proud of, and one that I'm extremely proud of as well. So without further ado, we're gonna bring London on, and we're gonna do a little mommy and me Q&A with her. All right, everyone, as promised, I have brought along my sidekick for the day.
I'm not a sidekick.
My guest, my youngest, London. And we're gonna have some conversation, like a mommy and me Q&A, right?
Yes.
Okay. So mommy's gonna ask her first question, okay? When we were doing school, and you started school, because you're in first grade now, right?
Yeah.
Yep. When you did preschool and kindergarten, when you would get really overwhelmed and frustrated with schoolwork, what would you do?
I would run away and cry and be upset.
You would run away and cry and be upset, right?
Yeah.
Because you would get frustrated with not being able to complete things perfectly, right? Okay. So what would we do? What did we start doing that helped you when you would start feeling frustrated or overwhelmed with your schoolwork?
We would take a break.
Mm-hmm.
And once I'm done taking a break, I'll go back to that and see what I did wrong, and I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we started taking breaks when you would start feeling frustrated or overwhelmed with an assignment, right? Because sometimes things are hard to learn the first time around. But we learned that we can't be perfect and that things take practice before we get it right, right? Do you remember in kindergarten when your teacher read us that, what was it called? That book, Ish, the Ish book? Where everything was done ishly, to teach you that things don't have to be perfect, that it just is about you trying and working hard, right? And that's what's important when we're young, is trying hard and not giving up. And that is a great, great book, the Ish book.
It's hard for me when everyone's doing it like perfectly, and I'm like, are you kidding?
Yeah, when you see other people doing it perfectly, you just expect to have to be able to do it perfect too, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you think people expect of you, is perfection, huh?
Yes, and that's what I rather do, is just like think of something that I want to draw, and then I'll
Because London gets frustrated when she's drawing and things don't look exactly like somebody else's work. Now, something else that I wanted to ask you, London, was what did you dislike or think that you were bad at in school?
Reading.
Reading, right? You did not want to learn to read. You didn't want to read the books. You thought they were all boring. You didn't even want to try, right? Yeah. You're in first grade now. In this school year, how many chapter books have you read?
2.
2 chapter books.
And I finished them both, but I have one more to do.
Finish them both. And you like these books, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what we've been able to learn with London that a lot of kids don't get the opportunity to do in a class size of 30 or more is that not every kid learns the same way. Not every kid struggles with the same things, and not every child's solution is the same. And we have been fortunate enough to be able to identify the things that London is really good at and the things that London has to work a little bit more at. And luckily for us, the one thing that London felt that she was bad at is actually now one of the things that she likes the most. And it's because we could be patient. We could take breaks when things got frustrating. And we could practice when we needed to on the things that she struggled with the most and move through a little bit quicker on the things that you did really well, right?
Yeah.
And now the things that you struggled with are some of the things that you do really well.
Yeah.
So, we have found on our journey of homeschooling that it has been a huge blessing because it has allowed us to provide our children with exactly the type of environment that they need to learn, to grow, to excel, and to actually start enjoying being in school and to enjoy learning. Do you have anything else that you want to say?
No.
All right, then. That was all the questions I had for you, ma'am. Do you have any questions for me?
Not really.
Okay. Thank you for coming on and doing this Mommy and Me Q&A. All right, let's tell them goodbye. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.